Please go to finneganswakenotes.net for a full explanation of the text, and please don't forget to hit the like button.
Welcome to episode 31 of the Reading Finnegans Wake in 200 Sessions podcast, where we analyze Finnegans Wake by James Joyce 3 pages at a time. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment to support us. Okay, so we're diving into pages 100 to 103 today, and wow, this section is, well, it's incredibly dense, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It feels like a real turning point.
Yeah, exactly. If the first 100 pages were, setting up the HCE scandal, trying to figure out who this guy even is, this feels like where the whole narrative pivots. We start with the scandal still buzzing around. HCE is almost like this ghost, this rumor. But then almost immediately, Joyce just launches him into this, well, abstract space. He becomes this philosophical idea, four-dimensional thing.
Tesseract, yeah. This is quite a leap.
It really is. And then, just as you're grappling with that, the spotlight swings dramatically over to ALP, Livia Plurabelle, and her defense of him is just spectacular. The whole 7-item outfit thing.
It's quite the entrance. And you're right, this section is crucial. It's where the whispers and rumors about HCE stop being just gossip or maybe history.
Right.
And they sort of solidify into something else, something mythic, a canonical existence, as the text calls it, even if it's a totally paradoxical one.
So our mission for this deep dive, then, is to kind of trace how Joyce pulls that off. How does he manage to fuse all these things?
Precisely. How does this, this possibly drunken publican get transformed into a Norse giant, and then a pope figure, and then a tesseract? And maybe even more importantly, how does his wife, ALP, this elemental force, step in to basically curate that whole complicated myth?
Protect it from all the noise, the slander.
Exactly. That's what we need to unpack.
Okay, let's jump in. Page 100, line 5. It kicks off not with quiet contemplation, but with this absolute blast of noise. Achtung, Pazor, attention.
Yeah, it's like newsboys shouting on the street corner, but amplified, international. You got German, Czech, and this Italian-sounding version of attention.
So it's immediately signaling that this isn't just a local Dublin story anymore.
I think so. It feels like the HCE scandal has gone global, or at least European. It's being shouted about, maybe distorted, by all these foreign voices. It's that modern media overload, information everywhere, but maybe not much real understanding.
And what's the actual news they're shouting? The next bit gives us the headline, right? Vicaroy besides Smokie young Pig-Schoolies.
Yes, classic Joyce. It looks like Danish on the surface. Viceroy visits beautiful young schoolgirls. Simple enough, perhaps.
But that word Smokie.
Exactly. You can't miss it. The Danish root smuk means beautiful, but Joyce deliberately picks a word that screams smutty and mucky in English.
So it connects the official figure, the viceroy, the symbol of external power,
directly to the core HCE scandal, the one involving, well, young girls and potential impropriety. It's the official visit tainted immediately by this underlying smut. Authority itself is caught up in the muck.
And straight after that, we get another layer. It shifts from this modern, possibly sordid news flash to something much older, almost epic sounding. Try pestiners of Emdirmed Lochlener Fetach if you thunas gehaven.
Right. This whole phrase, it's a mix of Irish and Danish, and it lays out a kind of core myth for Dublin. Try Pistini Arianai, that's 3 Irish children.
Okay.
Having an adventure with even Tirmed, a Lochlener Fetach, that's a Scandinavian or Viking
giant Viking giant in Phoenix Park, because that last bit, Funa's a haven.
That's Phoenix Park, yeah. Clearwater Park. So the modern publican, HCE, caught up in this little scandal, is suddenly being framed as this huge ancient figure, the Viking invader.
Clashing with the native Irish children.
Exactly. The current gossip is just the latest ripple from this ancient conflict. It anchors the personal scandal right into the deep history, the mythology of the place.
Which makes the next line even more striking, because it seems to show ALP, who becomes his great defender, actually attacking him. It's this burst of domestic rage. Banialana bangs Ballyhooly out of her bootery of a bullavogue.
It's pure chaos, isn't it? Banialana, that's ALP, the ale woman, the landlady, she's giving someone hell.
And bangs Ballyhooly out of, what does that mean?
Well, Ballyhooly can mean a big argument, a faction fight, lots of noise and trouble. She's really letting loose on her husband, the booteree.
Which means?
A booteree is kind of a vulgar man, maybe wealthy, but common. A churl. So she's furious at his churlish behavior, the very behavior that probably led to the scandal in the first place.
And Joyce ties this domestic blow-up to Irish history, too, doesn't he, with Bullavogue?
He does. Bullavogue immediately brings to mind Father Murphy and the Battle of Bullavogue in the 1798 rebellion. So this isn't just a wife yelling at her husband.
It's got the weight of national uprising behind it.
Precisely. The personal fight echoes Ireland's violent, rebellious history. What's really interesting, though, is that this moment of her attacking him, it's almost the last time we see it. Very soon, she shifts completely into defending him, rebuilding him.
Okay, so that sets the scene. Chaos, scandal, history, a flash of anger from ALP. And then the text takes this massive philosophical turn we talked about. HCE isn't dead and gone, despite everything. His existence is somehow proven.
Yes, the narrative shifts focus. It's the morning after the suicidal murder of the unrescued expatriate. It sounds like he is gone, symbolically at least, exiled, self-destroyed.
But then comes the proof. The infallible spike of smoke's justif punctual from the seventh gable.
Punctual at 8:45 a.m., 8:45.
An infallible smoke. I mean, that immediately makes you think of the Vatican, doesn't it? The white smoke when a new pope is elected.
Absolutely. It's the papal conclave signal. Joyce is borrowing the whole concept of apostolic succession, the idea that the spirit, the authority, passes instantly and infallibly from one pope to the next.
So HCE might be dead as a person?
But the role, the myth, the father figure principle, is immediately resurrected or succeeded. It's infallible. His existence shifts from being about facts and scandal to being about this continuous spiritual or maybe structural presence. He's gone, but he's still fundamentally there.
And the place this signal comes from, it's not just any house, it's the seventh gable of our Quintus Antimachus's porphyroid buttertower.
Right, let's break that down. Quintus Antimachus, that's basically Latin for Con Secethach, Con of the 100 Battles.
A legendary high king of Ireland.
A major figure. So HCE's dwelling is instantly linked to the highest level of Irish myth and kingship. He's not just some guy running a pub, he's the archetypal ruler.
And the tower itself, porphyroid buttertower.
Porphyroid suggests porphyry, that hard purple-red rock often used for imperial monuments, giving it a sense of grandeur, maybe permanence. But buttertower, that refers to those towers, like in Rouen in France, called Tour de Beer.
Why?
They were supposedly funded by selling dispensations, permission slips, basically allowing people to eat butter and dairy during Lent or other fast days.
Ah, so it's a grand structure built on, well, religious compromise, or even selling indulgences.
Kind of encapsulates HCE, doesn't it? Something seemingly important, maybe imperial, but its foundations are a bit shaky, commercial, maybe even corrupt, built on butter money.
And the timing mentioned later when lights are seen inside. Thirsty PM.
Yeah, 10:30 at night. Crucial time in Dublin.
Half an hour before closing time.
Exactly. The pub's about to close. It's the peak moment of thirst, maybe anticipation, maybe regret. So HCE's canonical existence is even tied into the daily mundane ritual of Dublin pub hours. The mythic succession and the city's rhythm are linked.
Inside this tower, this ziggurat-like structure, there are lights, lamps of maintenance, and there's this Latin phrase.
En caicos harauspices, annos longos patimur.
Which means,
Behold the blind soothsayers, we endure long years. It positions HCE as the haruspics, the seer who reads entrails. Remember ECH, but he's blind, perhaps blinded by the scandal or just absent.
an ALP.
She's the one who endures. Patimer, we suffer, we endure. She carries the burden of time, keeps the lamps lit. It recalls the Tok H lamps, lit in memory of the war dead, adding that layer of remembrance and endurance.
The text mentions figures seen in this light, too. The wasting wyvern, the tawny of his mane.
The wyvern, a kind of dragon, often symbolizes HCE, maybe in his more destructive or wasting aspect. But then the tawny of his mane, some notes suggest this is ALP, tending to him, like putting the healthy color back into the mane of a lion king, trying to restore his vitality even as he fades.
And the outstanding man, the law-like lady, still together somehow.
Yeah, enduring. Even the light itself is described in this paradoxical way, suffusion of fine glass transom and lead light panes.
It's like clear glass and opaque lead.
Exactly. Fionglé is Gaelic for clear stream or clear glass, but is contrasted with the dullness of the lead. It's a mixed light, maybe suggesting clarity and obscurity at the same time, and it directly echoes Cardinal Newman's hymn, Lead, Kindly Light.
Implying spiritual guidance through the darkness, maybe?
It certainly frames HCE's continued existence as something maintained by this enduring, guiding light, almost a theological concept held by ALP.
Okay, now we get to the really mind-bending part. The text tries to define HCE beyond just, a person or even a myth. He's not just a one-stone parable, not just Peter the Rock, the Pope.
Right, he's more complex than that. He's described as the prisoner of that sacred edifice, which could be the Pope in the Vatican, yeah, but it also evokes Viking invaders who are maybe trapped or hidden like Ivar the Boneless or Olaf the Hide. He's both central and captive, powerful and contained.
And this idea of the ventriloquist, a Venter hearing his own Bach speech in backwards.
It's a fantastic image of paradox. He's the source of the voice, Venter belly speaker, but also hearing it as if from somewhere else, maybe distorted. In backwards, he's both the speaker and the dummy. It mirrors the Tristan Tantris, inversion. The same figure, but seen backwards, reflected. It speaks to the confusion about his identity, who is speaking, whose story is it.
But the ultimate claim, the thing that supposedly proves the canonicity of his existence, is that he exists as a tesseract.
Yes, the tesseract, the four-dimensional cube.
Okay, hang on. A four-dimensional cube, how does that prove anything about a publican in Dublin? Is Joyce just being deliberately obscure here, maybe even mocking the attempt to make HCE so important?
Well, it is obscure, and there's probably some irony, but I think it's also a serious attempt to solve the problem of HCE's nature. If he's meant to be this universal, eternal father figure representing all men in all times.
He can't just be stuck in 3 dimensions.
Exactly. He needs to transcend normal space and time. The tesseract is a concept from geometry and mathematics, something we can't easily visualize in our 3D world, but its existence is logically sound within a 4D framework.
And Joyce connects this to modern physics.
Explicitly, the text mentions Einstein, born in Ulm, which becomes Ulma here. It's invoking relativity, maybe even hinting at concepts like black holes, which were being theorized around then.
How does a black hole relate to HCE?
Think about it. A black hole is this incredibly powerful presence. Its gravity shapes everything around it, but you can't directly see it. It's defined by its effects, by its absence as much as its presence.
Ah, so HCE is like that. His influence is everywhere in the book, shaping the narrative, the characters.
But he himself is elusive, absent, impossible to pin down with simple facts or observations. His existence is proven by his gravitational pull on the story. Contradictory.
So the tesseract idea is a way of saying his reality is fundamentally conceptual, metaphysical, proven by its effects, not by direct sight.
That seems to be the argument. It makes him eternal and, crucially, unkillable by gossip or factual investigation. You can't disprove a tesseract with a photograph from Phoenix Park.
That's quite a defense mechanism Joyce builds for him. And it ends with this command. Hush, you Franz of Ulma. Be quiet. Stop questioning.
Pretty much. The case is closed, philosophically speaking.
Oh, yeah.
His existence is canonical, established, even if it's in a dimension we can't perceive directly. It's settled. Now, hush.
But of course, the noise doesn't stop there. Just as we reach this peak of abstraction, the focus snaps right back to Earth, to the washerwomen, the dispersal women.
Yeah, the transition is deliberately jarring. HCE might be a 4D concept to the philosophers, but down by the Liffey, the women want the gossip about his wife, ALP.
And their first question is blunt. Was she fast?
Meaning, was she promiscuous? They want the dirt. So tell us all about her. Tell us all about her. They're trying to categorize her, figure her out in simple, often derogatory terms.
Does she look a lottie like Ussies?
Yeah, like Lottie Collins, the high-kicking music hall star associated with being a bit fast. Or maybe just like Ussies, like us, like common women, maybe even like hussies. They're projecting, perhaps?
They list possibilities for who she really is. Unity Moore, Estella Swift, Verena Fay, or Corda Quaidum.
That list is fascinating. It draws heavily on figures connected to Jonathan Swift, representing different facets of female identity as seen by society or perhaps by Swift himself. Unity Moore may be the ideal, the unified one. Estella Swift Stella, the beloved companion, Verena Fay, Verena Waring, the one he almost married but rejected.
And Corda Quaidum.
Literally some fourth woman. But the annotations make it clear it was slang for a prostitute, a whore. So they're asking, is she the ideal, the beloved, the rejected, or the whore? Society forces her into these narrow boxes.
This digging into her identity then leads them back to the big recurring questions of the book, especially the most famous one.
Who struck Buckley?
Which becomes the setup for a huge revelation, doesn't it? A complete reversal of the story everyone thought they knew.
Yes, this is a pivotal moment. The traditional narrative, the one that seems to underpin HCE's guilt or association with some crime, involves Buckley, the Irish soldier, shooting the Russian general during the Crimean War. It's presented as this heroic, maybe transgressive fact.
But the women know differently, and they're united in this knowledge. From the young girls, the school fillies,
About 10 or 11 years old, 7 score moons.
right through to the widow piece, they state it as absolute fact, as Yaya's is Yaya.
As sure as eggs is eggs, it's undeniable folk wisdom and their truth.
It was Buckley self who struck the blow, and the Russian generals, yes, they were the ones caddishly struck by him.
It completely flips the script.
Yeah.
The supposed hero, Buckley, is now the cad, the aggressor. The Russian generals are the victims of his bad behavior.
So by implication, if Buckley was the real cad in that foundational story,
then maybe HCE, who is often linked to the Russian general figure, isn't the guilty party after all. This collective female memory challenges and overturns the male-centric myth that has been causing all the trouble. It's a powerful narrative correction delivered by the women.
But even with this truth revealed among the women, the slander against HCE and perhaps ALP too doesn't just vanish. The text points fingers at who keeps spreading it.
Oh yeah, the rumor mill keeps grinding. We meet the Smily-Seller. Sounds like an oily hypocrite, doesn't it?
Definitely. And he's in the spy of 3 castles.
That refers to the Dublin coat of arms, 3 castles. But it strongly implies he's a spy for the castle, the British administration in Dublin. So the official power structure is implicated in spreading malicious gossip.
The slander itself is described vividly, covered by a quiet, stinking plaster zeal.
Like a plaster covering a wound. But this one stinks. And quiet zeal, it might refer to, the design on the Free State postage stamps of the time, which were quite plain. It suggests something seemingly innocuous that covers a large poisonous area. Like official propaganda, maybe? Or just insidious, quiet rumor-mongering.
And who else is involved? Lounge lizards at the pump room, and the washerwomen themselves, the Pratch cats.
The idle rich gossiping at a spa-like bath, and the working women chattering. Prash is German Yiddish for chatter by the river. Gossip crosses class lines. It's pervasive.
And it's against this backdrop of persistent, organized slander that ALP finally makes her appearance to defend her man.
Yes. She emerges as the one near him, dearer than all, the first warming creature. She embodies resilience.
Older now than her teeth, she has hair that is younger than thine. What does that suggest?
It's about her enduring nature. Teeth wear out, show age, but her hair retains youth. It connects to Anne Green, a woman in the 17th century who famously survived being hanged. She came back to life. ALP has that same quality of surviving public shame, even death itself.
She both protects and mourns him, shuddered him after his fall, and waked him widowed sparing.
Exactly. She provides shelter, shuddered him after his symbolic fall, his disgrace, but she also performs the traditional Irish wake. Waked him, lamenting him fiercely, without holding back, widowed sparing, possibly with a powerful keen, a mourning wail. She contains both protection and grief.
Then there's that incredibly potent image of her searching for him, gathering the fragments.
It's so powerful. She runs seeking him until she hides the crumins of his enormousness in the Pearl Far Sea.
The crumins of his enormousness, like the tiny remnants of his huge fallen being.
Yes, perhaps his fragmented reputation, his physical body broken down, even biologically, his spermatozoa. And she hides these tiny essential pieces within herself, within the Pearl Far Sea. Far's father, she's the mother of Pearl, the ocean, okeemic, linked to water, even urine, urea.
So she becomes the vessel preserving the potential for his renewal.
Precisely. She's safeguarding the father of Pearl, the male creative principle, within the vast feminine oceanic element. It's about regeneration, not just mourning.
And then she stands forth to burn the Gorgony old Dan world, to confront the slander, which is like a Gorgon turning people to stone, maybe rooted in the old Danish Viking conflicts. And her outfit, it's unforgettable.
It's a masterpiece of symbolic absurdity. 7 items. First, the shoes. Louis Comte's brogues. Suggests fancy, maybe slightly decadent French style.
Paired with a colander buzzle.
Right. A colander worn over her French for arse.
Yeah.
Acting as a bustle. It's high fashion mixed with kitchenware and pure scatology. Utterly defiant.
What else? A bolero boa.
A short jacket. Bolero, that's also a snake. Boa. Maybe hinting at Eve. Or even the clitoris. Sexuality and defiance combined.
And the hats. So many hats.
2 times 20 curlicornies, 40 bonnets. It echoes the 40 days of Lent, the 40 days of the flood. It suggests immense tradition, endurance, and maybe a touch of the ridiculous too.
But the most striking parts are on her face, her head.
Absolutely. Specks on her E and spuds on hooray.
Spectacles on her eyes, potatoes on her ears.
Exactly. Specks on her U, French for eyes, spuds, potatoes on her array, French for ears. It's this brilliant clash, the intellectual aid, glasses, with the most basic Irish food staple, potatoes. It's a comment on Irish identity, vision, maybe hearing, plus specs and AU sounds like bacon and eggs.
She's a walking contradiction, a statement. And she rides assertively avant her straddle on Steplo Jesima Sunday sola.
Not side saddle, but astride, confidently. Septuagesima Sunday is the third Sunday before Lent, a time of preparation. And sola alone, she's taking on the world by herself.
And her purpose in this grand, bizarre entrance
To gather up all the forces of opposition, pawns, prelates, and pukas colliding in her peace bag, the ordinary people, the church leaders, the mischievous spirits, she's collecting them all, like pieces in a game.
to crush the slander's head.
Yes. A direct echo of God's curse on the serpent in Genesis 3.14. She is the force that will finally destroy the lies that have poisoned everything. Her arrival changes the whole dynamic.
So her protection becomes paramount. She's immediately hailed, almost prayed to. Weary Weenie White, plead for Miranda more, Notre Dame de la Ville.
It's a plea. Weary Weenie White may be very tiny creature, but also white, pure. Pleading for Moranmore, perhaps more and more, or a name for ACE. And Notre Dame de la Ville, Our Lady of the Town, but Ville can also sound like devil. She embodies both the sacred and the profane protector.
And this protection extends to his resting place, his mound. There's a very specific warning.
Yes, a clear threat to anyone who might try to dig up the past or desecrate his memory. Take no grave spoil from him, neither mar his mound. The Bean of Tut is on it.
The curse of Tutankhamun, that was huge news in the 1920s when Carter opened the tomb.
Exactly. Joyce uses this very contemporary, sensational curse to give HCE's symbolic burial place an almost magical, untouchable sanctity. Mess with his story, disturb his mound, and you risk invoking this powerful, mysterious doom.
Because ALP is watching.
There's a little lady waiting, and her name is ALP. She guarantees the curse, ensures his protection.
The text then seems to look back briefly, almost wistfully, at HCE's more energetic, perhaps wilder past, when he spent his strength amok harem-scarems.
Yeah, it acknowledges his past promiscuity, his philandering, running amok with a harem. The harem-scarems are the 7 rainbow women.
Named after colors.
Yes, representing the spectrum. Poppy red, Naranci orange, Gialia yellow, Chlora green, Marinka blue, Annalie indigo, Parma violet. These 7 humors link his affairs to the colors, but also to the body's humors. It suggests he was trying to balance his inner chaos by collecting these different women, maybe coining a cure for each mood or impulse.
But ultimately, ALP is the real cure, the one who manages the aftermath of all his humors.
She brings the cycle of reconciliation. Tiff-tiff today, kissy-kissy today, and age-long pine to Marana.
The argument, the making up, and then the long-term consequence. Regret, suffering.
Pine can mean longing or suffering. It captures that messy reality of long-term relationships, especially after transgressions. It's not neat. And this dynamic is elevated, framed as the primal post-Edenic couple. Quote, who but crippled with children would speak up for dropping with sweat?
Eve defending Adam.
Only the woman burdened by the curse of childbirth would defend the man burdened by the curse of labor. It roots their specific messy Dublin marriage in the universal human story.
And this section closes with ALP's song. It sounds like it's based on an old music hall tune.
Yeah, at Trinity Church I met my doom. It brings back the themes of cost, foolishness, maybe the bad bargain of marriage.
Sold him her lease of $990, a 999-year lease marriage.
And he, the recipient, is called a Grootgudgeon, a big gullible fish, a fool. The question, who is the COD? Cash on delivery, but also cod for fool, gets the answer bum, like a drum beat, or maybe just bum as in broke, or the end. It highlights the cost, the potential folly.
The song also ties them firmly to the Liffey, the river.
At Island Bridge, she met her tide. Island Bridge is significant because it's roughly where the Liffey stops being tidal. It's the meeting point of the river's flow and the ocean's pulse.
So their relationship mirrors the river's rhythm.
It seems so. The Finn had a flux, and his Ebba a ride. Finnegan, HCE, has a sickness or flow, flux, and the ebb tide, Ebba, also ALP, has its movement. It connects their ups and downs, sickness and health, to the natural cycle of the river.
And the result of this long, complicated relationship.
We're all up to the years in hues and cribbies, up to the ears in trouble, in debt perhaps, surrounded by the hues, the colors of his past affairs, the rainbow women and the cribbies, maybe the hue and cry, the scandals, perhaps even children, cribs. It's the accumulated messiness of their shared life. That's what she's done for us, or maybe for HCE. Wee little man.
Then we arrive at the very end of page 103. And the tone shifts again, becomes deeply melancholic, almost biblical.
Yes, the Babylonian conclusion. It's incredibly moving. It directly echoes Psalm 137, the lament of the Israelites exiled in Babylon. By the waters of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept.
The washerwomen who started this section with gossip are now voicing this profound sorrow.
Exactly. Their voices merge with those ancient laments. Joyce links it to cleansing waters, too. Nomad may roam with Nabuc, but let Naaman laugh at Jordan. Nebuchadnezzar, Nabuc, the Babylonian king, represents exile, perhaps madness. But Naaman was cured of leprosy by washing in the river Jordan. There's a hope of cleansing, even amidst the sorrow.
And that final image. We have taken our sheet upon her stones, where we have hanged our hearts in her trees.
It's beautiful because it works on two levels. Literally, the washerwomen are laying out their laundry sheet on the river stones to dry, and maybe hanging smaller items on tree branches.
But metaphorically.
It's the Israelites hanging their harps on the willow trees by the rivers of Babylon, unable to sing in their grief and exile. Their hearts are hanged, silenced by sorrow, displayed on the trees like their laundry.
And ALP is still in command.
And we list, as she bids us, by the waters of Babylon.
Yes. List means listen. Bids means she gives them drink. Maybe like a mother giving a bib to a child, or perhaps urging them to drink deeply of these waters.
The waters of Babylon, but also Babel, confusion.
Exactly. They must listen to ALP's story, her version, and immerse themselves in the sorrowful, confusing waters of Babylon, the chaos of language, history, and grief that she presides over. Her myth thrives in this very confusion. What a journey in just 3 pages. From those chaotic news shouts, through HCE becoming this abstract tesseract, then ALP's incredible defense in that wild outfit, and ending with this deep Babylonian sorrow by the river. It really feels like the whole ground has shifted under our feet.
It really has. I think the absolute key takeaway here is that shift in perspective. It stops being primarily about what HCE did or who he is. That almost becomes secondary.
Right. It's now about how she, ALP, preserves him.
Yes. How she constructs and protects his myth, his memory, his meaning. Within all that chaos, the Babylon of endless gossip, conflicting stories, and the sheer noise of language itself. She becomes the filter, the curator, the eternal river carrying his fragmented story.
So if that's the case, it changes how we as readers, or you as the listener, have to engage with the book from here on out, doesn't it?
I think it does.
If the voices in the text, the washerwomen, are told they have to list, listen, and bib drink from these confusing waters, commanded by ALP, well, does that mean the only way to really grasp HCE is to stop looking for clear answers, for hard facts?
It's a provocative thought, isn't it?
Do you have to embrace the confusion, get intoxicated by ALP's flow, her language, her story, rather than trying to nail down the objective truth of the scandal?
Perhaps understanding comes not from solving the puzzle, but from immersing yourself in the flow, in the Babylon. Maybe the power of her song, her narrative stream, is ultimately more important, more real in the world of the wake than the original slander.
Something definitely to mull over as we move forward. Thank you for guiding us through that incredibly rich section.
My pleasure. It's fascinating territory.
Until next time.